This is the second date of your tour here in North America with High on Fire. How are the audiences here in North America? I mean, it is the second day, but so far, how do you see the response? Because you're playing with High on Fire, so that demographic is somewhat broader, somewhat not familiar. I mean, I don't want to sound judgmental, but they're not as open-minded to...
Well, funny that you should say that, because I mean, last night was only the first show, but we got really good response, and I got the impression that people here are a bit more open-minded, you know, like when you play in places like London or Berlin, say, you know, people can be a bit cynical, jaded, you know, they've seen too many bands, there's too many bands like coming through.
But it's also very hip in Europe to have some sort of opinion, you know, when something is hyped, then it's maybe not so cool to like it.
Yeah.
Even though we've got nice reception in Europe as well. But I think people...
No, I mean more generally speaking. And last night so many people approached us and said, great, we loved it, and it sounds a bit like this, sounds a bit like that, you know, like that was really refreshing, you know, just strangers just coming up to you saying, hey, great job, you know.
Yeah, people here just tend to be more, I mean, I lived in America, I know this, friendly and outgoing and a little bit more communicative. People come up to you, you know, and high five you, and so it's nice.
Do you find when you're performing Lucifer's music in a live setting, this will be the first time that I'll get to see you play, but I'm looking forward to seeing how the transformation from the sterile, protective sound of a studio into a live ambiance. There's a lot of musicians that can't jump to that level. Right. Talk to me about what your feelings are with that.
Oh, me. Yeah. I think it's two different type of talents to be like how you record and how you play live. And some bands are better at one and some are better at the other. If you're lucky, you can do both. But I can't say, because we basically just started playing with this band live. So this yesterday, I think, was our 7th show so far. So Overall? Wow. Yeah. So for me, I'm just starting to kind of, you know, learn to get on a roll with this band. So, I think what I heard from other shows that we played in Europe before, that some people said that it's heavier live. The sound is heavier. And maybe it's a bit more raw, you know, because you can't layer. We have one guitar player. On the record, he's layering many guitars over each other, and it's like... and same with the vocals and so on, and it's kind of produced. So live, we're just the 4 of us, and there's not much else. So it's a bit more raw. I don't know how we will bring that across. But
do you enjoy playing live? Do you enjoy the music playing live?
I love it.
Do you enjoy interpreting your music in a live setting?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm a big fan of playing live. It's you know, getting that, you know, a little bit nervous beforehand, and then once you hit the stage, just like really going for it, and like, you know, all the work you put into the album to actually like present it to an audience, I think is very exciting. I love it. Yeah.
Do you find that in a live setting you're also more freer? Because much like, I don't want to tag the band as a 70s band, but I noticed that during that era, those bands had such a freedom on stage. It wasn't a regimented set. Do you find, and since I get that vibe from Lucifer, when I listen to Lucifer's music, it seems that there's just this freedom of expression. You guys are just jamming out and it's being captured. Do you find that in a live setting as well?
We don't actually jam so much in a live setting. I mean, we do kind of, you know, play the songs as they are on the album, but of course, you know, every night is different and the songs will always sound slightly different. But at the same token, we're not a band that tends to kind of go into like jammy bits and stuff like that. I mean, we kind of stick to the sound of the record. But yeah, as Johanna just said, because it's, you know, the album was layered in parts, and this is like a very stripped back version of the band, but at the same time, I find that very exciting. You know, it's just very real, and
me too. It's different because you when you write something in the studio, it's very new, and you kind of, it's like getting to know a person. You know, you something is starting to grow in front of you, a song, and then it's done, and you kind of get familiar with that creature, you know, that you made. So once you start playing those songs over and over, rehearsing them and playing live, they get like a life of its own, and when you play them, you kind of all of a sudden start to live in them, and that's a whole new experience. It's like an extension of what you made on the record, you know, and
I noticed that the videos that I've seen when you're performing live, I noticed in regards to your vocals and your stage persona, it's very enchanting. It's very hypnotic. Do you find yourself dissecting yourself from the live audience and going into your own zone? Because I find that it's very somewhat freeing, not only for the viewer who's watching the live show, but it's very rewarding for me to see when artists are enjoying what they're doing, unlike just performing a show.
I mean, for me, I can just say that I'm actually by nature pretty shy, even if it might not come across that way.
You don't come across that way.
Yeah, no. For me, it's actually kind of hard to go on stage.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Suffer from anxiety?
No, I just not so much. I just feel uncomfortable. I feel kind of exposed, and it's not so much in my nature to be like a monkey on stage, like Mick Jagger, you know, or
Is that why you're
or Diamond Dave or something. So I feel kind of, you know, you're on a stage and you have lights in your face, and you don't see anybody, but you know everybody's staring at you, and it's kind of like as if you stand naked in front of your classroom, you know. Wow. So it is a bit. So I'm just honest about it, whatever. And I know actually so many people that are in bigger bands told me they have stage fright. They just don't talk about it. Yeah. I have no shame saying that. But to become this kind of introvert, I just try to focus on the song and the music, what it does to me, and try to not think too much about the eyes that are looking at the stage. You know?
That would explain why the show, the live show, has this real natural sincerity to it. You know, being that you are at the vocal point and all eyes are on you. Do you find that also to be very inspiring in your performances? Taking that, suffering from that, and then turning it around in a positive way?
Yeah, and what I enjoy is once I actually crack that point, and it starts to become a pleasure to do that, and to, like I said before, to live in the songs, you know, because it's a whole different experience. It's kind of physical, you know, when you're on stage and the music is so loud and you feel the drums and the bass and how you sing over a big system. That's a whole new thing.
It's somewhat like a ritual, no? Like it just.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, playing live is like a ritual. Yeah. So that's a very beautiful thing, and I'm always just happy when I can overcome some sort of fear, you know.
You're touring in North America. What would you like to tell the future audiences? You have a couple of dates coming up with High on Fire. How would you define the Lucifer live ritual for people that are not familiar with your music?
Do you want to take an aim at that?
I don't know. I would say just, I don't know. I'm hoping that we're playing sort of like a fierce rock and roll show, you know, and that, I don't know, yeah, we just get lost in the music, I guess, and just really go for it, you know, and just play the songs as I don't know, I mean.
I just hope that what it does to me, this kind of that it takes you away into this sort of, I don't know, parallel emotional universe or whatever, that what music can do to you, that actually catches on to people who see the show, that, you know, that it does something to people. I mean, I'm a huge music fan, and if I go to a show and something manages to touch me somehow, then that's what rock and roll should do, you know.
And I agree with you. I think the key factor is the sincerity. Like when I see a band and you watch them and you can tell they're just going through the motions, it's just not fun. And I think an audience knows that, you know. An audience will always know if a band is sincere or not. And from what I can tell is I think everyone in the band really enjoys playing it live, and you know, and that's I guess you know,
we do all enjoy it, like everybody in the band.
For me, artists like yourselves are not only bringing back the true virtue of music, but you're actually exposing this new audience, this new demographic, this youth, to really experience the way music is supposed to be, which is sincere, real, and honest. Another thing that I want to comment on, there's a big problem with shows where everyone seems to have an attention span. They're on the phone.
Yeah.
I've noticed that in your videos, you're able to conquer that. I hope that continues, because for musicians going up on stage performing real, sincere music is a rarity. So I commend you for that. Lucifer's on tour now with High on Fire. Make sure you go out there and make sure you pick up the record Lucifer on Rise Above Records. Any final words for the future audiences here?
Well, we're just looking really forward to traveling the States and get to see all these wonderful places and hopefully meet a lot of the people that dig our album. Thank you.
Right on. Thank you for taking the time. Jimmy Cabs, don't download it, buy the record.